Good morning. It is May 9th, 2017. I'm Jim Schnell, and I'll be doing a short video clip here on Jerusalem, the crossroads of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, three major world faiths. You are looking at what is called the Dome of the Rock, and it has special significance with Islam. The Dome of the Rock is located on the Temple Mount, which is about a 32-acre site within the old city of Jerusalem, and interesting significance for what we're focusing on today. These three major sites having to do with three major religions, world religions, is that it is all of these locations are within about a 10-minute walk of each other within the old city of Jerusalem. But again, this is only what you're looking at is the Dome of the Rock that is located on the Temple Mount. And the significance here for Islam is that Muhammad stepped off of a rock that is underneath that dome, hence it's called the Dome of the Rock, and stepped off that rock, ascended into heaven, and received guidance on the fundamental tenets of the Islamic faith, came back to earth, shared those basic aspects of Islam, and the faith grew from that. Right next to that, actually adjoining the Temple Mount, is what's called the Western Wall, which has significance for Judaism. The Temple Mount is the holiest place on earth for Jews as far as sanctity, and that part of their belief system is that God is most manifested at that point, at that place, the Temple Mount. But they are not permitted at the Temple Mount. How this works is the Western Wall is a supporting wall that supports the foundation of the Temple Mount. It's kind of a retaining wall. And so since they're not permitted in the Temple Mount, they use this foundational wall, the Western Wall, as a place where they worship. So the Western Wall is the most significant place for them as far as its relationship with the holiest place on earth for them, which is the Temple Mount. So they use this foundational wall as a place where they congregate and pray. And you can see that down there, where they will go actually right up to the wall and worship. And sometimes they'll put notes or these kinds of things there, but they'll line up, and you have the men on one side, and you have women on another. And then there's a tunnel that goes back in here, and it goes deep into like a cave area that follows the continued movement of the Western Wall, again, which is a foundational wall for the Temple Mount. And I'm out here early this morning. There's not so many people here right now, but I came out because it's supposed to be 95 degrees, and I thought it'd be better to come out before the crowds come out. But you can see the basic principle here. It is a place of worship, has a great deal of sanctity for them. Now we progress to an area that is not even 6 or 7 minute walk from here, which is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and that has special significance for the Christian faith.
Zombie.
And now we continue through a small roadway, pathway almost, that proceeds from the western wall, Temple of the Mount area, to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And again, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. So this is many of these shops that will open up in about an hour are not open yet, so I can move a little bit more quickly than I would in about 2 hours from now, when this area will be full of people who come in to shop. And these little shops they'll have knickknacks and things having to do with tourism, souvenirs, that sort of thing. But this is a living community. People live here, function here. Tourism is a primary aspect of life here. Getting ready for a busy day here, so cleaning up and this sort of thing. Here's a typical shop that you'll have here with things to buy of typically having to do with the religious significance of old Israel, of Israel. at the end of this road, this pathway here, I keep calling it a path, but it's actually just a narrow road, we'll come out at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And again, there'll be three main parts of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and this has relevance for Christians. And the three main things that we'll see in there are, with regard to Christianity, has to deal with the crucifixion of Jesus. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre is built on a hillside, and part of that church is where Jesus was crucified. And so you'll see that there's a depiction of Jesus on the cross. And then the second piece of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is where Jesus was brought down off the cross, body washed, and entombed. And it was from this tomb that he rose from the dead. And then right next to that is the location where he ascended into the heavens after he had rose from the dead. So these are three major pieces of Christianity. I will not be able to talk inside of the church, so so that's why I provide outline of what it is we'll be looking at. And you'll see here the Holy Sepulchre. So we're going into this area here. That is where the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is. And this is it. The crucifixion. And this slab of rock is where Jesus' body was laid down upon when it was cleaned, as depicted in this mosaic on the wall. And this is where the ascension into heaven occurred from here. Something worth noting here, you have so much religious significance in a relatively small amount of space. With the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, just within Christianity alone, there's contention over control of these sites. For instance, in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre are 7 different Christian faiths or denominations that function, and they have conflict amongst themselves for controlling the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Jesus was crucified, where Jesus arose from the dead and his body was cleaned, and where he ascended into the heavens after being raised from the dead. But anyway, this is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and control of it is contentious. So what has evolved over time is that since the Christians have difficulty agreeing amongst themselves for how to control this space, the custodian of the keys to these gates you're looking at right here, the custodian of the keys is actually a Muslim. And that individual comes in and opens up at about 5 in the morning and closes up at night. So it's interesting that that among these three major world faiths that they will rely on each other to kind of help support and manage affairs amongst themselves. And security is certainly a significant aspect of this.